Welcome to IAS Net Study, and I'm starting a new series, and this is a series of ethics. And in this ethics series, I'm going to cover the entire syllabus that is mentioned in your GS syllabus, GS Paper 4, Ethics, Integrity, and Aptitude. This is going to be covered in this ethics series. Most probably, the videos there will be around 40 to 50 videos, and I'm going to cover all the topics that I mentioned, especially in the section A. Once we finish the section A, we are going to take up the previous year's question papers, and in this coverage of previous year question paper, I'm going to take up the case studies also. So on the whole, section A is going to be covered, and while we discuss previous year's question paper, we are going to cover the section B also. And I make sure more number of examples are also going to be discussed on the both in section A as well as the PYQ, so that you would get a 360-degree idea with respect to this ethics topic. So let's get into the discussion of ethics series. This is the first video, and in this, let's start with the first unit. So before getting into the discussion of first unit, what I'll do is I'll give the bird view, what exactly the syllabus, the topics of syllabus, and then we'll take up the first unit. So if you look at the syllabus, predominantly we have 7 units. The first 2 unit, let me change the color of the pen. So the first 2 units, the first unit is ethics and human interface, and then attitude. See, these 2 units, it talks about basics about what are beliefs, what are values, what are attitude, what are behavior, morals, ethics. All these basics aspects are going to be discussed here. And in the first unit, ethics and human interface, here value is going to be focused. Half of the topic, if you look at this particular first unit, it is with respect to values, and the second unit is with respect to attitude. So here we are going to discuss the basics: attitude formation, can we change the attitude, and what are the factors that influence the attitude, and then persuasion, cognitive dissonance. All these topics we are going to discuss in the attitude. These are the first 2 units, and the next third unit, that is aptitude and foundational values. See, in the first 2 units we talked about basics, and here these basics are going to be implemented in the third topic. So we talked about uh, ethics, morals, values, attitude, all these things in the first unit. Then these things will be discussed in the third unit, right? And then we have a fourth unit, emotional intelligence. This is very small topic, small unit, but the thing is, every year there is one question, especially till 2021 22, there was one direct question all the time. What exactly is emotional intelligence? How exactly this is going to impact the public administration? How it is going to impact the society, organizational level, international level? See, these kind of questions, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, there was one direct question that used to be there in every examination, paper 4, emotional intelligence. After 2020 through 22, it's more of indirect question, but ultimately this is quite important chapter. There will be minimum of one question from emotional intelligence. And then comes the fifth chapter, contribution of moral thinkers. This is a very big chapter, and here we are going to discuss about thinkers. We are going to discuss about moral philosophies, and moreover here the philosophies is distinguished between Western philosophy and Indian philosophy. And then again we have a distinction like ancient, medieval, modern, or contemporary. These kind of distinction is also there. See, this chapter is the one thing. Section A is, there will be questions for sure. At the same time, understanding these concepts is very much important for case studies in the paper 2 also. This plays very important role. And one more thing is, if you look at the essay paper these days, the philosophical based essay questions, it's there, they are, or there will be 1 or 2 questions, it will be like this. Even to answer these kind of philosophical questions, understanding this topic, it is quite important. And see, here it is a very detailed explanation, it's there, but the brief introduction to this we can see in the first unit, especially when we talk about dimensions of ethics, where the brief introduction we can see that. And then the next 2 chapters, ethics in public administration and probity in governance. Ethics in public, and if you look at these 2 chapters, it looks like all the topics are related to public administration. We have RTI, we have citizens charter, mission karma, these kind of topics are there. But the thing is, you need to answer these from ethics perspective, not from public administration perspective. That is the catch here. So for that reason, these topics have been included here. The same topics are there in the paper 2 also, GS paper 2. The same topics are also there in the polity, in the preliminary polity. There also we learn these things, and even if you look at the public administration, political science, also these topics are there. But here the difference is that you have to answer it from an ethics perspective, right? So these are the major 7 units, section A of your ethics, integrity and aptitude, right? Now let's discuss the first unit, ethics and human interface. I think there'll be 6 or 7 videos that would be sufficient to cover this first unit. So let's get into the discussion of this first unit. Let's see the subtopics in this unit. The unit is ethics and human interface. See, before entering into the discussion of these topics, you need to understand certain basic concepts. So first, let's talk about basic concepts. Then we'll get into uh, the aspects that are mentioned in your syllabus. Basic concepts usually, as I told you before also, what exactly belief system are, and what are values, what are attitude, what are behavior, difference between ethics and morals. So these are the basic things. First we'll understand the basic things. Once we have the knowledge, once we have the idea about these basic concepts, then we'll take up the next, the further that is mentioned in your syllabus. Essence, you can say it as a characteristics. Then comes determinants. What are the factors that determine the ethics? Ethics says what is good and what is bad. Now what factors determine this, that we are going to discuss. And then we have a consequences. See, if you follow ethics, if you implement ethics in your life, consequences will be positive. If there are no morals, values, whether it is in personal life or in your professional life or in civil services, public administration, the consequences will be negative. So we'll talk about consequences also. Then we have a dimensions of ethics. Dimensions of ethics, I told you that just in the last slide, that it is a brief introduction to the moral philosophies. So here we'll talk about various aspects of these dimensions of ethics. It is a quite longer video. It will be a quite longer video, but understand this. It's a brief understanding. If you have that knowledge, if you have that information here, it would be easier for you to connect in the fifth chapter. So dimensions here, and then we have a ethics in private and public relationship. Again, the simple topic. Then we have a detailed analysis of values. This unit, it is value. In the next unit, it is attitude. So here, what are values, sources of values, and various dimensions of values. Then role of family in inculcating these values, role of society in inculcating these values, role of educational institutions in inculcating these values. And then further, moving further, we have, if you look at the history, we have talked about, we have a very detailed discussion regarding freedom fighters. Then we, from current affairs, we know the efficient administrators. So we, there are great reformers, there are great leaders of our country, for that matter entire world. Then we are going to take up these eminent personalities, and your exercise here is that you have to derive human values from their lives, the best values from their life. And the next challenge is that how do you implement these values in your personal life. You take a life of Mahatma Gandhi and you have to take these values out of their life. So what are the values you see in their life history? Then how do you implement these things? If you are a public servant, how do you implement in your professional capacity? At the individual level, how do you implement these values at the individual level? So this is what we are going to discuss in this particular segment, right? So we are going to take up freedom fighters, we are going to take administrators also. All these things we are going to discuss here. Another aspect is, if you learn these things, it is easier for you to answer case studies also. Even case studies also, this is the same exercise, that you have to take these, you have to derive these values, you have to dissect the information. So this is the prerequisite for your case study analysis, right? So these are the contents of your first topic, first chapter. Now let's get into the discussion. Let's start with this basic concepts. I told you that before entering into the syllabus, we'll have an idea about basic concepts. So what are the basic concepts you need to be aware of? First, belief, and then values, and then attitude, and behavior. So belief, it has significant influence on values. Value has a significant influence on attitude. Attitude has significant influence on behavior. So everything, there is a there is a synergy, there is a synchronization between these things. If you have a positive belief system, behavior is going to be positive. If you have a negative belief system on something, your behavior, it is going to be negative. See, this is not the thumb rule, it changes, but I'm just giving you a vague understanding. Your positive belief system, behavior is positive, outcome will be positive. Negative belief system, in general, outcome will also be, behavior will also going to be negative. So let's start with belief, and we're going to move towards behavior. Belief, what exactly a belief is? Belief is an internal feeling. So I believe that, my belief, my cognitions, these are internal feeling, and I believe that my internal feeling is true. See, there may not be any logic behind it. I cannot prove my belief system. It it may look like rational, there is no objectivity behind it, but still I stand for my belief system. So as an example, you can take an example of God. I have not seen the God, I have not talked to the God, I've never experienced the God, but still I follow all the rituals, all the religious practices in my life, because I have that belief system, there is a God, and I have to fulfill my duties towards the God. There is no logical explanation, there is no rationality, I cannot prove it also, but still I follow this. So there is a strong belief of religion in me, so this is my belief system. Again, belief system, there are two types. The first, core belief system and peripheral belief system. Core belief systems are very strong belief system. It's very difficult to change this belief system, but peripheral are not that strong. Ultimately, your belief is that you can defend belief system and you stand for the belief system. One more thing you need to understand is there are two concepts. Knowledge. Belief is not knowledge. Remember that belief is not knowledge. Belief is trust. I believe in that, I have trust in that. So belief is not knowledge, belief is trust, right? And now, what are the sources of beliefs? The first and foremost, let's talk about the sources. First and foremost, person's own experiences, my own experience. I think that, I believe that, because I have certain experience, and based on these experience I believe certain things. So this is my belief system. Usually I feel it, that is why I believe it. So my personal experience, and then comes cultural and social norms. Cultural and social norms, if I have to give an example, if you look at the Japanese society, people bow down to each other while greeting. The reason it is that it it creates some harmony in the society. I am respecting you by bowing down, and that respect is reciprocated. When the respect is reciprocated, there will be mutual coordination, mutual cooperation, and this maintains harmony in the society. So cultural and social norms also impact my belief system. And then comes what other people say. Yes, of course, whatever you say, whatever you think, that is also going to impact my life also. As a simple example, if you look at the Western society, the school children, they believe the idea of Santa Claus. So here my belief system is impacted, is influenced by your belief system. You believe that, all the people around me believe that, so I also believe that. So what other people say, that also going to impact my life, right? So these are the sources. Ultimately, belief, I can say it is an intersection of three things. The first is intersection of my cognition. It's what I think, so what I feel. So my cognition, it is an intersection of my emotions, it is an intersection of my actions. So belief system, it's a combination of all the three. So this is belief system. I told you that positive belief system, positive outcome, negative belief system, negative outcome. So of course there are negative belief system also, but at this point of time, these are the basic things. Understand the basic things. We are going to extend these basic things in future. This point of time, this is sufficient. Let's move to the next basic concept. The next basic concept, it is values. What are values? Values are my personal standards. See, these are my personal standards. Based on this standard, I evaluate things. If I have to evaluate something, my evaluation is based on my standards. So these are personal standards. Based on this, I evaluate things. Based on this, I take decisions. Based on this, my actions are shaped. These are guiding principles of my actions, right? These are values. So certain value system, it differs from person to person. Value system is, now my, if I have to give an example to value system, hard work is a value system to me, patriotism is a value system to me, punctuality, honesty, truthfulness, fairness, humanness, these are the value systems. See, it does not mean that every person should have the same value system. See, for me, hard work is a value system. For another person, it is a smart work. So the value system differs. For a soldier, it is the patriotism, and a soldier usually is ready to sacrifice his life for the nation, for the nation, for the country. Here, patriotism is comes over comfort, and there is a dedication, there is a spirit of service that uphold the patriotism in a soldier. And for a teacher, being fairness, treating every kid equally, being fair, being compassionate, these are the value system teachers should have. So value system changes from profession to profession, person to person. Also, there are core values are there, they are universal, but here you just understand it changes. It is person to person, is a personal standard. At this point of time, we are going to extend it later, but at this point of time, you understand this is what value means, right? Again, can we change the value system? Yes, we can. Can we change the belief system? Yes, we can. Here also, we have a core value system and we have a peripheral value system, right? The same thing. And if I have to give example, Captain Vikram Batra, and again he sacrificed his life uh, while in the duty, and then Rosa Parks, the civil rights movement in the USA, and then even you can give an example of Ratan Tata, where he mentioned that profits must not harm people. Again, these are some of the example value system. You can quote these personalities and their value system in the examination, right? So let's move to the next basic concept. The next basic concept is attitude. Now, attitude. What is attitude? I told you that. Remember this chart: belief system, attitude, sorry, values, and attitude. So here, values is that I am evaluating. These are my personal standard. Based on that, I am evaluating. Evaluation happens. After evaluation, now there is a favor or disfavor toward. It may be a person, it may be towards a place, it may be towards a thing, it may be towards an event. Ultimately, it is an expression of favor or disfavor. So here, my attitude, it is formed because of my underlying values. So my values directly influencing my attitude. As an example, take an example of politics, politician. See, I have a belief system. My belief system is that all politicians are corrupt. This is my belief system. My belief system is negative. Now let's see, I don't like, here the scenario is I don't like politician. The reason, let's go to the basic reason. Because I have a belief system, I believe that every politician is corrupt, every politician wants just power, they don't want to serve the people. This is my cognition, this is my belief system, right? And then if you look at, if I dissect my belief system, what are my values? My value is honesty, my value is integrity, being upright. These are the value system. Now I have a belief system that politicians are corrupt, and it goes against my value system. Now my attitude is also negative. Now I am expressing disfavor towards the politician. So this is what I don't like politicians. This is my belief system. Why do I have this belief system? Because my value system, I have the value system of non-corrupt, I have the value system of honesty, I have the value system of integrity. Because of that, I have developed this belief system. Now the attitude, now since I have the negative belief system, I my value system does not go with idea of strong integrated politics. Now my attitude, it is negative. So expression of disfavor towards a politician. So this is attitude, right? Give me a minute. I just have to recheck whether I have covered all the things. Yeah, let's, in the last slide, while we were talking about values, I told you that values changes from person to person. Now punctuality is a value, right? That is a value. If i have if i have this value system of punctuality, then my I favor towards coming to the office at the correct time. So if I have that value, if I support the value of punctuality, then I favor coming early, leaving early, leaving home early, right? And at the same time, if I have the value of hard work, then I favor practice. But if I have the smart work, my favoring will be different. So this is what, if value system, it is directly going to impact your attitude. If my value system is punctuality, then I leave my house early, 10 minutes early, and I reach office minimum 5 minutes before the office time starts, because of the value system punctuality. And if somebody comes late, then my attitude is negative towards that person. I am going to express disfavor. My favor is to the person who comes at the right time. And if somebody comes late, the kind of negative attitude I am going to show towards that person, right? So this is with respect to attitude. And final basic concept, it is with respect to behavior. See, we talked about belief, we talked about values, we talked about attitude. All the three, these are internal in nature. Whatever I am thinking, my value system, it is inside me. My attitude is also, it is inside. I'm not expressing it. Expression, when the expression comes, then it becomes behavior. See, take an example of politicians only. I have a belief system, all politicians are, politics is corrupt, all politicians are corrupt. Now my value system, it is honesty. My attitude, it is negative towards politician. Now the behavior, I saw the politician is coming in front of me. Now I don't want to talk to the politician. I will not, even if he talks to me, I will not talk, or I will just change my way. This is my behavior. Behavior here, it is an observable action. It means that I am expressing my attitude. Here it is an external exercise, it is external phenomena. Whatever internal, it is belief, it is in my head, value, it is in my head, and the attitude, it is in my head. Now it is expressing through my behavior, right? This is beliefs, values, attitude, and finally behavior, right? This is the connection between four. So remember this, the connection. And you can look at this chart also. Your beliefs, your, the ideas you hold to be true, those are your belief system. And your value system, what is important to you, these are your value system. Then comes your attitude, here how you treat others and how do you approach situation. And finally, how do you act, this expression of your attitude. So this is behavior, right? Now the last basic concepts, morals and ethics. See, both morals and ethics, their values itself. But here the difference is that morals, these are personal in nature, and ethics, it is for community or organization. We have a medical ethics, environmental ethics. It means that it belongs to all the people who are working in a medical field. They have to follow these standards. Again, both morals and values. What are values? Values are standards. Here morals are personal values, ethics is values to a large section of people, maybe a community, maybe an organization, maybe a particular office. So this is ethics. So here these are personal. For me, based on this, I decide what is right and wrong. And ethics, these are for a society or a group of people. Here, what is right and wrong, it is decided by group of people. That is what ethics is. Then morals, see, these are internal in nature. This is my personal thing, these are my personal values, it is internal in nature. But ethics, here more number of people are involved, so it is external in nature. I told you that moral ethics, it can be based on professional ethics, and the society, social ethics are there. Law, organization, a particular organization, they follow certain ethics. So if you look at the judiciary, uh, you're not supposed to give briefing to the media, or you're not supposed to take gift, you're not supposed to take a bribe. These are the conduct rules, these are the standards, values that you have to follow. Here it is external, and it is more individualistic in nature, and it is more of, ethics is more of group. Ethics, in a simple word, morals, it is for one person, ethics, it is for the society or a group of people. That is the major distinction. And morals, these are subjective in nature, person to person it changes. But ethics, it is more of everybody has to accept in an organization or in a society. So this is objective, because see, if becomes subjective for a group of people, there are 1000 people in a group and everybody start giving their own explanation. So what happens, ethics should be objective. so that there will not be any loopholes in that, and it should be codified, and it should be same for everybody in a system. So this is the difference, major difference between morals and ethics, right? So yeah, I think this would be sufficient in this video. It explains the basic concepts, and in the next video, we are going to take up the essence, we are going to take up the determinants and the consequences of ethics. So I'll see you guys in the next video. This video, it covers basic concepts, and I gave an introduction to the ethics paper, just paper 4 also. And thank you for listening. I'll see you guys. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good time.